116 of the All the Book Show, the official podcast of the David A. Howe Public Library, where we talk book news, author news, and literary news. I'm Eric Mickles.
And I'm Nick Gunning. And
I'm Steve.
That's Steve,
That's
everyone.
Steve, yes.
Our
Steve.
longtime contributor, our man on the street,
Yeah.
Steve Van Valkenburg, my little brother.
Yeah, first-time listener, though.
Yeah, he's never heard the podcast.
No.
Is that right, Steve?
I'm not hearing it now.
Wow. Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty harsh stuff.
Yeah.
So last week, let me get this straight. Last week, we had world-renowned author Naomi Shihab Nye joining us on the podcast.
Correct.
And this week, we have my little brother, Steve. Do you feel like it's at least a lateral move? Can we agree on that?
At this point, Steve is like Steve from
Yeah.
Full House.
Yeah.
He's not in the opening credits.
Yeah,
But-
although he eventually got there. I just want to point that out.
But
Okay.
people expect an episode to
He's-
have Steve in it.
every
Same
once in
thing
a
with
while,
Comet. You
Steve's gonna
expect to see
show up.
Comet
Exactly.
walking around the Full House.
Exactly.
Was that what the house itself was called?
If
the Full House?
if we were like Next Gen,
uh-huh.
that's a Star Trek series, folks.
He's
then my
Whoopi
brother
Goldberg?
Steve is sure. I was going to say Q, but yeah,
Okay.
Whoopi Goldberg. Although
Well, yeah.
look at these eyebrows. He can't be Whoopi Goldberg. So
Oh, that's right. She has no eyebrows.
yeah, fun
This is
fact.
something I learned late in
How
life.
about Wesley Crusher? Did he ever
all right. Nobody wanted Wesley Crusher there,
Yeah.
though. That's the
I think it's
difference.
great. It's like most applicable.
Okay,
All
we'll
right,
take it. Fine,
sure.
that's fine. If you want to cast yourself as Wesley Crusher, I don't think either one of us are
That's
going to deny.
weird.
Anyway, Steve is here for a very special reason because we're going to be talking about Jack Reacher.
Well, Lee Childs.
Yeah,
It's
Lee
a
Child.
Sorry.
Sure,
But
sure.
All he does is Jack Reacher. Is that right?
I guess. Pretty
guess we'll
much.
save it for the
Yeah,
spotlight.
pretty much. I've tortured some of my very closest friends with Jack Reacher movies. Regular contributor Sally Murphy, the Queen of Halloween, the Great Pumpkin, if you will, has appeared
Not a nice
a couple
thing
of
to say about
times,
somebody.
and she was not happy with the Jack Reacher movie.
The first Jack Reacher
First
movie.
Jack Reacher
in
movie
theaters.
broke Sally's brain.
It was a birthday pick for you.
And
though,
then
at
Eric
the
and
time.
I went to see Never Go Back, and I think that Eric is never going to go back to a theater.
That
Like,
was bad.
he'll never
stuff.
get over it.
But you know what?
We got to save that. We got to save that magic for a little later on. You know what else we all experienced together? We went to see Imagine Dragons
Oh, hey. Yeah.
live
Is this
in
the first
concert
podcast
in
since?
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Steve, your thoughts?
It was pretty great, actually.
Yeah, I know they were.
Okay. Steve, please. This
Yeah.
isn't a hard-hitting podcast.
Wow, Steve's a shock jock, so he's going to say a lot of that kind of
Our
harsh
apologies
stuff.
to,
Yeah, sensitive
Imagine
listeners. We apologize. They actually were really great live.
Yeah.
he just started and it was strong. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like listening to the album.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good. The whole
Yeah.
concert, I thought, the lights and the spectacle and everything. Did you think?
Yeah, it definitely surprised me how good they were live. I didn't expect it.
Ouch.
There was no.
Steve.
Well, we were on the far end, and
Yes.
then midway through,
Yeah.
a little stage appeared, and they came over and like started playing a couple of kind of an acoustic set almost
I'd
over
call
on the
it an
smaller
acoustic
stage.
one. It was cello.
So
and violins.
suddenly we had amazing seats.
Yeah, for $60, we had basically front row seats for about 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
So that was great with a Tom Petty cover.
Yeah, that's true. So
It's-
it was an excellent concert.
It cracks me up to no end how long into that song people were still singing the wrong lyrics at the end, because there's the chorus and then he goes, and I'll stand my ground and I won't back down. But everybody wants to say, and I won't back down at the first, and I'll stand
Oh,
my ground.
yeah.
And you can just hear the whole like audience, the stadium just like stops themselves and has to like get back to their feet. Cracks me up.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Well, let's talk bookmark.
Okay.
What have we been reading?
Well, Mark's been having a hard time at
Has
school.
he? Has he really?
Yeah. Apparently.
Get your head out of a bookmark.
Well, that's
you
his
know?
problem.
Experience
That's
life.
his problem. Yeah.
Look at all this beautiful rain you're missing
Yeah.
because of those books.
Well, it's a very jock-heavy school.
Is it?
So.
Well,
Yeah.
mistake number one. What have you been reading?
So you were kind of a jock, right?
No.
Shock jock.
No. I was good at capture the flag.
Yeah, that makes you kind of a
The
jock.
only time in gym class I got picked first was capture the flag.
Nice. I still got picked last, but there was one great day.
Oh, I didn't get picked last. I got a pity pick 3 or 4 down. A good friend of mine would be like, all right, get over here, you uncoordinated
There was
lug."
one day I grabbed the flag and made it all the way back to the other side.
Was
I
it-
felt like a superstar for about
Was
2
it the
minutes.
correct flag?
Yes.
Okay.
Nick, it was the correct flag.
I don't know. I don't know your life.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was Italy's flag.
Sure.
But that wasn't. I'm sorry.
That got confusing.
All right.
So what have you been reading?
All right. So I read Carrie by Stephen King.
Oh, okay. Steve, have you read Carrie?
Yes, I have.
Do you like it?
I did, actually. It was surprisingly scary, I thought.
Scary.
I guess I wasn't as familiar with the movie. I hadn't actually seen the movie, so it was kind of new to me relatively.
I'm going to throw this out there
I-
very early in the podcast.
Yeah.
Steve needs to talk closer to the microphone.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for telling us that.
No problem.
I did not find it scary.
No, Carrie's not scary.
Well, such a bold statement.
Well, okay. I guess.
Now who's the shock jock? You just called Steve out.
Sorry.
Are you going to take that,
No,
Steve?
sorry, Steve.
For the moment.
He'll allow it.
I found it to read more like a comic book that I would have read
Okay.
before.
Okay.
I mean, it's telekinesis, and I
Right.
don't find telekinesis frightening.
Yeah. Well,
or
when I make
even
your
if-
head
even-
pop, you will.
Even if somebody is using their telekinesis to destroy a small town and kill
Yeah.
400 people,
Sure.
I still don't find it like something I would read on Halloween.
No, if
even
you
though
were
I
in that
did.
town.
I felt like it was like reading maybe like a darker comic book, like supervillain origin story.
Okay.
But I didn't find it. Also, I find fundamentalist religious zealots to
Yeah.
be the least interesting type of villain.
Yeah.
So every time Carrie was interacting with her mom, I just like shut down. I'm like, I get it. You're crazy.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was probably less of a cliche at the time that it was written.
in the 70s?
Don't you think?
Maybe. I guess because you're coming
Maybe
out
on
of like
the
the
wave.
50s of
Yeah.
conservatives.
Right.
But today, I find that stuff just anywhere it shows up, it bores the heck out of me.
Did you enjoy the format?
Yeah,
the
I
different-
mean, I read it in one sitting,
Yeah.
so like it was a quick read and everything. But I don't know if like the ability of a book being a page turner is necessarily a book being great.
No, but that's definitely
Yeah,
I think, an important aspect.
yeah. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
I think it's well written.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting considering like that he
Sorry,
was.
Steve. Steve's just staring at me now, and maybe he does have TK, and maybe I am scared.
Do you remember the format, Steve? How it changes perspective? How sometimes it'll be a novel that somebody else, or not
And
a
then it's a
novel, but a
police report.
memoir or a police report.
Yeah.
See, I really liked that.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I thought it was a really good way to explore that story.
Yeah.
And it makes sense considering that up until that point, I mean, this is King's first novel. He was
Yeah.
just a short story.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of a way to sort of write little short stories and,
Yeah.
and connect them all together. I think it's a pretty strong first novel, but I agree that it's not really like, it doesn't feel Halloween
Yeah.
like. I guess just because it's Stephen King, I sort of think of it as Halloween, but, you know.
Okay.
Did you read the boyfriend character as John Travolta in your head? Were you like, this is
No.
like so weird?
I've never seen the
okay.
the movie, so
All right.
no.
I spent a lot of time on my head.
Is that stuff he says in Carrie?
That's from Saturday Night Fever. You hit it.
Is that in Carrie as well?
That's from Saturday Night
Okay.
Fever as well. Yep.
All right.
Yep. She got friendly. That's Grease.
Okay. All
Down,
right.
down in the sound.
All
But
right.
anyway, neither here nor there. That's it, Carrie?
No, that's not it.
I'm sorry.
I read
That wasn't a
three, Jack Reacher short stories.
Hey. Save
And,
it. Save
yeah,
it. Put a cork
and,
in that. Cork it.
Lee Child.
Cork it!
Okay. Jeez. Boy. I've got a monitor on, and it did not pay to have it on right there.
Thanks for...
I also read Jonathan Troper's The Book of Joe.
And didn't like it, according to Goodreads.
Yeah, hey, I don't want us to fight because you gave it 4 stars,
Yeah.
and I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah.
But I hated it.
You did?
Yeah.
Why did you hate it?
Okay, well, I haven't put all my thoughts together about
Okay.
it. I didn't like the writing style.
Oh.
I didn't like Joe,
Okay.
the main character.
Uh-huh.
Joe's main story. I felt like it was a killer idea for a book that was misused. So the story of Book of Joe is that he left town,
Mm-hmm.
wrote a book about his hometown, and like tore it apart.
Yeah.
And then he has to go back home, and everybody hates him. The problem is, I don't like Joe, but everybody he wrote about is also a horrible person. So I don't care that everyone's upset, but I also don't care about Joe. So I don't like anybody in there, and I don't think anybody's right. And I also don't feel that Joe ever changes. He changes, but he's a very passive protagonist. He doesn't do anything to change.
I see.
Things just suddenly he just changes. And also everybody has an absolute descriptive take on their own psychological point of views and everything that they can just describe it
Okay.
verbatim. They can just be like, I realize now that I've been going through this, this, and
Yeah.
this, and this, and this has affected me in this way. And it's just huge bits of dialogue. and-
This might be one time where the medium really helps because I actually listened to this on audiobook and it was read by Tom Cavanaugh, who just sold it
That would
like
be really good.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the character flaws that
That's a
you're
pretty
saying.
good cast.
I
too.
know.
That's pretty good casting.
The character flaws that you're saying are there, but coming out of Tom Cavanaugh's
Yeah.
voice, it
Yeah.
changes it. It's much
Yeah.
more believable. So I probably
might
would have
be
been more with you had I just read the
Jonathan Troper wrote This Is Where I Leave You, which is a movie with Tina Fey and Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
So, and I'm one of the very few people to give it 2 stars. It mostly has 4-star ratings. So I don't know. I guess I just... Also, there was just so much time on basketball, and I felt like the story wasn't Joe's. I felt like the story was his friend's Wayne. Like, Wayne's story was the one we should have really been focusing on, or anyone else. It seemed like everybody else had a more interesting story than Joe.
Well, I think it is what you don't like is Jonathan Tropper's writing, because that's a lot of like exploring the characters and letting them sort of speak for themselves, and having it be like a bunch of things coming together is sort of his shtick. So I think maybe it works better in the This Is Where I Leave You, because that is such an ensemble piece. Whereas Book of Joe, I think, is really written. I think it's meant to be like a primary protagonist in Joe, the main character.
Yeah.
And I don't think that works as well. But again, Tom Cavanaugh reading it to you might have changed your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I'd watch a Book of Joe miniseries starring Tom Cavanaugh.
Me too.
I guess just a movie would be fine.
Yeah.
2
I like
hours?
the end. I think it resolves well. We don't have to get into it. It's fine.
So anyways, All the Book Show, Nick does recommend Book of Joe. Eric
Yeah.
Michaels does not.
Okay.
But Eric Michaels might just have a bad taste in it.
Maybe he does.
All right, I'm starting Console Wars. Sega, Nintendo, and the battle that defined a generation by
Sure
Blake
did.
J. Harris.
I was Sega all the way. Steve,
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I was definitely a Sega guy.
No. Well, Super Nintendo won, and I was on the right side of history in that. So
Were you?
yeah, I had a
Didn't
Super
Sega
Nintendo.
kind of beat Super Nintendo?
No, it's Super
Did it?
Nintendo sold more.
Really?
I think the
I
coolness
would have guessed
factor,
the other way.
I think you can't deny that Sega was the cooler console, but
definitely.
Super Nintendo had the better games.
Yeah.
They've aged better, I would say. I'd say it's easier to pick up Super Mario World today than it is to play Sonic the
Echo
Hedgehog
the
1.
Dolphin. Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Echo the Dolphin. You guys had Echo.
that's a tough call. I mean, I love Mario, and I think you're right. Like at the end of time, Mario will be the one, who's there. But the Sonic games, all the way through Sonic and Knuckles, I was in it to win it.
Yeah. There's
Sonic Spinball, I don't know.
Yeah. There's a meme online where you just take any game title and put and Knuckles, and you have to like prove that it can't be better by doing that. So
Well, it's impossible to prove that.
so this book I haven't opened it yet, but this is what I brought it to work today. Apparently, it's written. It's not just like a nonfiction telling of everything. Like it's written as prose. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I think there's some embellishment in it as well, but I think that was done to get people to pick it up. Also, apparently Seth Rogen is making it into a movie, so maybe that wouldn't have happened if they had written it just as a...
I think they already did that with Fred Savage, and it's called Wizard.
But I got this from my local library in Wellsville, New York, by requesting
I
a
direct that
purchase
library.
suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got it. So if your library doesn't have a book...
That's true.
Don't worry. Go up and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
can I make a purchase?"
We'll
I
get
wouldn't
it for
say
you.
they'd love to hear it,
One
but
way or another.
sometimes they do.
We'll get it for you one way or another.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
that?
So,
All right.
console wars.
Pretty good. Pretty good haul.
I guess, yeah.
Graphics? Seems like you've been out of the graphics game for a while.
I think I've been thinking that too. I think
Don't tell me you've matured.
No.
Because I know that's not
No.
true. I know it.
I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the world like Marvel and DC that I just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That it seems like they're trying to. It's gotten very confusing, even for somebody like me.
Yeah.
To know exactly what I should be reading and where I should.
And you're a regular Einstein, too, so that's
you mean
that's
with
hard to...
with comic books?
Sure.
You're okay. That seemed mean.
Hey, man.
Anyway,
So you're not... So you're
I meant someone like me, somebody who reads a lot of
Yeah.
comic books.
Right.
So I guess I just haven't like.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, I haven't found any titles. I need to get back to just reading X-Men, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, just
I like
straight
all
up
new
X-Men.
X-Men. I've been reading all new X-Men pretty regularly. Is that still going?
Yeah.
I'm so behind the times. Don't spoil
So
it.
all the book show, Nick recommends all new X-Men.
I do like
Eric
all new
does
X-Men.
Not.
Yes, I sure do. You don't like it?
No.
Baby.
I don't care for the original X-Men
Oh, see,
team.
I love the original X-Men team, so
That's crazy to me.
I wish there was more. Steve, do you have thoughts?
I actually prefer the original team as well.
The original team.
Well, okay, hold on.
guess
I
we're
don't-
saying the same thing when we say original team.
Well, we're saying like Iceman, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast,
and
Angel.
Angel.
Yeah.
Then we're on the same page.
I don't think that I would say I prefer that team, but I really enjoy that team.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what can you say?
I don't like the Rogues Gallery back then.
Okay.
I don't like that team
Well,
format.
I mean, for the 60s, the Rogues Gallery was just a bunch of like mustache twisting.
Yeah, but I mean, Spider-Man had like great villains right
Yes,
out of
he
the
did.
gate. X-Men had Mesmero and the Vanisher, and I mean,
You had me at Mesmero. So
yeah. So
just stop right there.
and yeah, they're just I've never liked them, and now even just bringing them in the future, I'm like, this is just give me regular X-Men at regular age doing regular X-Men adventures.
Okay.
I'll be happy.
All right.
So
No
I
one's
feel
gonna
like
fault
I
you for
can't
that.
find any good X-Men story with Rogue in it right now.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
they've-
Anna Paquin.
Ever since the movie, they've depowered her in the comic because
Yeah.
if you remember from the '90s, she could fly, she had super strength, so she could throw a tank,
Sugar.
and she was nigh invulnerable. She was basically the X-Men Superman.
Yeah, she was the X-Men Superman.
Low powered. I guess she was X-Men's Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Not to say Wonder Woman's not a strong character. She's not as strong as Superman physically.
The way you said that made it seem like that's what you were saying.
Darn it.
Made it sound like you were.
Yeah.
It made you sound like James Cameron. Steve, have you been reading? Steve, have you read anything interesting lately?
Well, yeah, I just read the
Into the
Batman
mic and
Superman
closer.
Volume 2,
Ooh.
Game Over, by Greg Pak.
Oh, that's a pretty good series. Did you like that?
It was interesting. It wasn't what I expected when I picked it up, but I didn't hate it once I finished it. It was definitely different than I thought it would be, though.
Did he
It's
say
a bizarre.
He didn't hate it?
He didn't hate it.
Oh.
It's a bizarre series, I think, and it's a lot. It gets really, like here's an issue about this and here's an issue about that, so it's kind of hard to follow. Do you think you'll read more?
I'll probably take a break, but I'll probably get back to it in the future.
Nice. No, we don't have these, right? We don't have Batman, Superman. We have classic like Superman, Batman,
Whatever the one you got.
Jeff
yeah,
Loeb,
with,
yeah.
the
but we don't have the new stuff.
Public Enemies.
Now you're not a fan of any of the new Batgirl stuff, right?
Not so far. So far, I've read Batgirl Volume 1, The Batgirl of Burnside, and Batgirl Volume 1 Beyond Burnside.
Oh, that's Rebirth stuff. So I haven't read any of that.
I read Batgirl Burnside and I didn't like it.
Huh. It looks cool.
Yeah, it
I
does,
like the character designs and stuff.
It does look cool, but it's just boring
Oh.
in my
I
opinion.
feel
But
like it's a little cutesy, like they're not giving her the depth she deserves.
her Rose Gallery in that is just pointless.
Killer Moth.
No, there's,
Tell me Killer Moth
It's
is
just
there.
there's at one point there's two like Akira inspired ninja bikers that she fights, but they're just like these
Is it
throwaway,
Vince Vaughn from Anchorman?
very like episodic, never to return. Vince Vaughn from Anchorman.
He shows up on the motorcycle. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Jack Black is on a motorcycle.
Okay, sure.
Anchorman.
Whatever.
What?
Anything else?
I also read Batman Year One finally for the first time.
Oh,
Hey.
there's
Late to the game, but I did start that, and I really love that.
You do, the
that's
game?
fun because we've all read it.
Oh,
Everyone in
late
the
to
world's
game.
read it.
Everyone
Okay.
in the world's read it, except for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good stuff.
Batman Year One is great. Batman Year One has aged very well. Probably more than The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I think so.
It really is. If you've seen Batman Begins, the movie,
Yeah.
you've kind of read Year One.
Yeah.
They take a lot of beats, a lot of actual scenes from that story. So it's great.
And the animated one's pretty strong. The animated film.
Yeah,
based
that's
on it.
true. With
Ben McKenzie, is that his name?
yeah, he plays Batman.
He plays Batman in Year One, but he plays Commissioner Gordon
Right, but
on
I'm
Gotham.
trying the guy, the guy from Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay.
Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston plays Commissioner Gordon in that. So
the commish.
yeah. Hey,
That was
speaking of
tickles.
superheroes, specifically DC.
Okay.
The DC animated original movies turned 10 years old today or this month.
Good times.
10 years since Superman Doomsday.
Superman Doomsday. Steve, fan?
Yeah, big fan. I love that one.
Well,
It's pretty good. It's weird.
yeah,
I like
just
it.
10 years. I was just thinking about that, and part of me was like, wow, that's a long time to have only a few good ones.
Yeah, it's true.
So
That's really true.
And they were doing like a trailer, like remember all this, and they're putting out this big $200 set of all the movies and everything. But they showed Batgirl like just stand up, and I was like, oh right, because she had a brief cameo at the end of Batman Bad Blood for like 2 seconds. And
Yeah,
then-
they canceled the Batgirl Year One movie, which
Yeah.
I love that comic. There's a Batgirl you should read, Steve. Batgirl Year One.
I'm dying for a good one, so I will be willing to check it out.
Have you read that?
yeah,
You don't like it?
I read the Batgirl Year One and the Robin Year One.
And you didn't like either?
Nah.
Oh, that's too bad. I really like both of those.
Well, I guess we can't be friends anymore.
Apparently. Well, let's see what I've been reading here. Oh, I read a Batman. I read Gothtopia.
Boy.
Have you read that?
There are some listeners who are just like, please.
Decent.
Gothtopia? No, I haven't heard of that.
I listened on Overdrive to a Jack Reacher short called Deep Down.
Okay.
So I thought it was nice. They had just separate short stories that are in there.
Yeah, Steve and I reached for our copies of No Middle Name.
So I listened to that, and I listened to another one. I listened to Second Son a while back, 2 weeks ago, I think. I am currently reading, still reading Trader Winds, which is a Trek book. I'm reading Reggie and Me, which is available in our YA graphic novels.
That's a 6-issue Archieverse miniseries.
Yes, it is.
Correct? About
starring
a character named
everyone's
Reggie.
favorite anti-hero,
Okay.
Reggie.
But it's really told from the point of view of his dog.
The first issue definitely is, yeah.
Okay.
He's the me in Reggie and Me.
Okay.
And then I started reading Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth.
Yeah, I saw that on Goodreads. I have no idea why you started this.
Yeah, I don't either. I guess I was sort of interested when it came out.
Yeah.
We read the first Divergent for a book club here.
Oh, boy.
And I liked it. We didn't really get back into it.
No.
And I thought this one might, I don't know.
As someone who's seen 3 of the movies now, I can tell you it doesn't get better.
I know. I'm kind of interested in it. And it seems like the book was better than the movies anyway. But so I honestly don't know that I'm going to go the distance on this book. I'm probably, a tenth of the way through.
Do you think you'll find yourself?
It's a lot of setup. Setup.
Well, that's because remember when we read the summary, it was just
the whole
made up
what's
word
your
after
current
made up word
gift?
after
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
current
rough.
gift.
It's a rough start. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see.
Well, it's brave of you to try new things.
Thank you.
Hey,
Then I have to read Eileen, which is our next
right.
Contemporary Classics. And then after that, folks, we're discontinuing Contemporary Classics. So we're going to do a patron picks book club lottery where we're just going to draw the next book out of the hat. So we're going to read some weird stuff.
Opening yourself up to chaos.
I know.
Question.
Yes.
Reggie and Me being told, at least for the first issue, of a dog.
Yeah.
Does that win you over very quickly?
No, because it's already been done in this.
Oh.
Like not
You
Reggie,
love dogs
but
stories.
I think it's Betty and Veronica, which is narrated by Jughead's dog, Hot Dog.
Okay.
So it's already been done, and I didn't really like it then. So who knows?
All right.
I'm looking forward to Jughead Volume 3, if you're curious. That's it for me as far as bookmark. Let's move on to book news.
I just realized Jughead likes hamburgers and his dog's name is Hot Dog.
Yeah.
So
The dog started off as Archie's dog and then just kind of slowly became Jughead's dog.
Yeesh.
There's some Archie lore for you.
Archie sounds like an irresponsible parent.
Yeah, he sure does. Well, in the spirit of book news, let me just alert everyone to the fact that the Goodreads Choice Awards are up, so you can vote for your favorites.
That's right. We didn't talk about that last week.
You can vote for your favorite books that came out this year.
Yeah.
Not many surprises. I went through I think we're in long list point now. I think we're going to narrow it down a little bit before we do the actual awards. So there's quite a few. It's like 15
Catherine
or 20.
Applegate didn't make it
No, she
with
didn't.
her wishing tree.
So there's a lot right now. So take a look, vote, and then when the results are tallied, we'll go through them and see what's up.
Yeah.
I feel like this year I've read the fewest
I have read nothing.
nominees.
I've read 2 things. I read Paper Girls and something else.
Yeah, I read the Daily Show book.
Yeah.
I read Thrawn by Timothy Zahn.
Uh-huh.
Not a whole lot.
No.
Not a whole lot. I'm gonna try to get a few taken care of before the awards come out. But
There was something.
anyway, take a look at that, and let's turn to the world of publishing. So these are some advance notices coming your way from Jane Ann Krentz, Promise Not to Tell, a Cutler, Sutter, and Selena's book number 2. A Broken Promise reveals a terrifying legacy in this electrifying novel from the New York Times bestselling author of When All the Girls Have Gone. Steve, have you read Jane Ann Krentz?
No, I have not.
Eric?
No.
Okay.
Also, I want everyone to know that electrifying is okay to say, but don't say you've been electrocuted because that means you were killed by electricity.
Sort of the difference between like nauseous and nauseated. That's different.
Okay.
All right, City of Endless Night, Pendergast, number 17. This is the Douglas Preston Lincoln Child team up series. It's been going on for quite a while. I have not read any of these, and they sound a little bonkers. But
Wait, Bonkers the cartoon cat?
no. What begins as a manhunt for the missing daughter of a wealthy tech billionaire becomes something altogether different when the young woman's body is discovered in an abandoned warehouse in Kew Gardens, Queens. The The head nowhere to be. Oh, the head nowhere to be found. Yowzer!
Aye.
It appears there may be 2 killers on the loose. I hope Bunkers the cat's not involved because he's gone off the rails.
Mickey's missing again.
2 killers on the loose. One responsible for the young woman's death. Another responsible for the decapitation. A pair of such dastardly killers requires a team of equally talented investigators. Luckily, both Vincent DaGosta and Special Agent Pendergast are back in town.
Hey, if I could do a really good Mickey impression,
Like Mickey Mouse?
yeah, I would do a very dark Mickey Mouse accidentally murdered somebody impression right there.
Oh, no. It's gone too far this time.
That's pretty good.
There's no turning back.
yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
From J.D. Robb, the alter ego of America's sweetheart, Nora Roberts, in death. And I want everyone to just
Do you think...
guess. Hold on.
Okay.
This is her in death series, Eve Dallas. These are a little sci-fi set in the future. She's like
Right.
a space cop.
Yeah, sure.
Book.
Dig that.
What would you guess? What would you guess? Number of book. that
See,
we're
I
on.
want to guess really high.
I want you to guess really high too.
Okay, I'm going to guess 52.
Oh, you're so far off. It's 46.
Oh.
You're not that far off. All right. So if you like these books, and I mean, good for you because you got 45 other options
Yeah,
besides
that's
this.
true.
There's always a reason for murder. Well, debatable.
Huh.
But when a young actress is killed in a swift and violent attack
I'll be right back.
on cinema screening, that reason is hard to fathom, even for Lieutenant Eve Dallas and her partner Goofy.
Wait, is that true?
No, it's not true. It's not true. Just her team, Eve Dallas and her team. So, murdered actress in the future space cop Eve Dallas. Going after. She's probably not a space cop, but it is.
Future Cop.
It
Still,
is
still
Future
sounds
Cop.
cool.
Future Cop.
If a movie said Future Cop, and starred,
Sandra Bullock.
well, I was gonna say
Back again?
The kicker, the guy who kicks, the
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, that's called Time Cop, and that's an amazing movie.
I haven't seen it.
So good.
Okay.
And Time Cop 2. Very not related. And the Time Cop series on TV.
It is related. I brought it up. I brought up Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the 2 movies don't really.
Oh.
It's sort of the same
Right.
mode of time travel, but it's not.
still
Van Damme's
Jean-Claude
like,
in the
"You got
second
get
one?"
out of here." That's not him.
That's
he's
not-
he's
that's not
French.
what yeah.
Anyway, Large Print. Large Print fans.
Yeah.
The Other Girl by Erica Spindler is
Yeah.
coming your way. From the New York Times bestselling author comes a chilling new thriller about a ritualistic murder. Boy, sorry I picked a bunch of downers.
Yeah, that's all
A
right.
ritualistic murder of a college professor that sends a small town cop, bonkers,
Yeah.
back into the trauma she thought she'd put behind her.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, cop.
Hey,
You're-
I feel
you're back
bad for
in the thick
you
of it.
because now you're left with Daffy, not Daffy. You're
Donald
left
Duck?
with Donald Duck.
I
so-
can't do a
So now
Donald
you got to
Duck.
do your Donald Duck
I can't.
impression
It's just like-
while trying to solve a
do it.
murder.
I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Can you do Scrooge McDuck solving a murder then?
No, it's too soon. It's too soon
Too soon.
because we lost the Scrooge McDuck voice actor.
Like 2 years ago.
It's too soon.
And now not Ewan McGregor. David Tennant. I almost
yeah.
said David Duchovny.
Yeah.
That would be a different take on Scrooge
I'd watch
McDuck.
it. I'd watch it.
David Duchovny's Scrooge McDuck
Yeah.
in X-Files.
Yeah. Okay. What we got on the New York Times bestseller list?
What do we
I
have?
have my suspicions.
Well, we're going to start with the young adult hardcover fiction.
Great.
Nick.
These change every week.
Sometimes
so this is
they
gonna
do.
Be totally refreshing.
Number 10, Sun Warrior by PC Cast. It's only been here 2 weeks, so that's fresh. Number 9, Hunting Prince Dracula. I'm surprised that this series is still here, I guess.
Hunting. Well, they never change. That's what I'm saying.
Number 8, All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stifata. Number 7, The Language of Thorns by Leah Badago. And then number 6, Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leah Badago. So you haven't read Warbringer yet. Your wife finished it, liked it.
She liked it. Yeah,
Okay.
she was really into it.
Number 5, Warcross by Marie Lu. Number 4, new this week.
Hey.
Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. On his way to extract revenge for his brother's death, Will takes a life-changing elevator ride. Bet you didn't see that summary ending
I
that
sure
way. I
didn't.
didn't. I was reading the dang
That's
thing.
a plot of that movie Devil, I think.
Yeah, and Willy Wonka in the glass elevator.
Oh yeah.
Number 3, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Number 2, 2 weeks on the list, The Book of Dust.
Hey, I know what number 1 is.
By Philip Pullman. Number 1,
Turtles All the Way Down by John Green.
John Green. And you didn't finish this.
No.
Yeah. Oh,
But
sorry.
I read enough.
Did you? I
I read over half and
I
just
just-
couldn't.
saw somebody giving it like 4 stars
Yeah.
on Goodreads.
Okay.
I wonder if you just hate turtles. But you have a tortoise.
I have a tortoise.
Yeah.
There was only a vague mention of a turtle in like the 60% of the book that I did read.
Okay. Number 10 on the New York Times bestsellers list for
Here we go.
hardcover adult fiction.
Here we go.
Number 10, The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye.
Hey, come on now.
Yeah, you don't want to.
That's so rude.
Yeah. We're full of kings on this list.
Are we?
Every king is represented today.
Yes, I know. Stephen King tweeted that. It was so adorable.
Number 9, Strange Weather by Joe Hill. A quartet of novellas involving the horrific and the supernatural.
Son of Stephen King, who went the Emilio Estevez route.
Yes.
Though that's not entirely true because Estevez is Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen's real name. So
Okay.
it's the reverse. He pulled a reverse Estevez. Let's
Yeah.
say that.
Okay.
I think that's more clear.
Number 8, Fairy Tale by Danielle Steele. Her life is a fairy tale. The amount of money she
Sure is.
rolls in.
Sure is.
Yeah. Number 7, New This Week.
She uses $100 bills to light other $100 bills on fire.
Yeah.
That's
her kid.
That's how rich she is.
Number 7, Quick and Dirty by
Look out.
Stuart Woods.
Stewie,
The
these
New York
titles.
lawyer, Stone Barrington, is hired to recover a stolen Van Gogh painting.
Steve had a traumatic experience with Stuart Woods a while back, right,
All right,
Steve?
bring it in, Steve.
Indeed. Involved a rogue masseuse, I think.
A rogue
It got
masseuse.
very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So
For us.
Stuart.
No, he was fine, but us, we were uncomfortable.
So you went to go get a massage, and Stuart Woods
Yeah.
was there.
I
Yeah.
don't think I could at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they've been ruined.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Quick and Dirty is tied with number 6, A Column of Fire by Ken Follett, book 3 of the Pillars of. What was that?
A column of fire. Everyone knew what I was doing except for you.
Number 5, Uncommon Type by Tom Hanks.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah. So remember, these are 17 short stories.
He is the star of The Man with One Red Shoe.
Yeah. That's what.
Star-making turn.
Yeah.
That's what people.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That and The Burbs.
Oh.
Bosom Buddies?
Yeah, I was about to say Bosom Buddies.
You're thinking no. You're thinking Peter Scolari.
How many seasons did Bosom Buddies last?
I think 2.
That's the one where they dress as women to get housing?
Yeah. Yeah, but they play themselves as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, number 4, Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King.
Look out.
Yeah.
I can't believe I still haven't read this because I want
Do you
to.
think Joe Hill is like, "Hey Dad, do you want to write together?" And he's like, "I only write with kings."
I think Joe I think Joe Hill is happy doing what he's doing.
All right. Do you think they talk? It's the Kings.
Yeah, I do think they talk. Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 3, Deep Freeze by John Sanford. Virgil Flowers. You like John Sanford?
Not particularly.
All right. Well,
I read a Virgil Flowers that I enjoyed, and then I read a Lucas Davenport
All right.
that I didn't enjoy. So
All right.
it's a total.
Steve,
It's a wash.
stay close to the mic because the next 2 are you and Nick together.
That's us, buddy.
Number 2, Origin by Dan Brown.
Ooh. And I would like everybody to recall that Steve guested with us in a podcast. So if you want to tune into that,
About Dan Brown.
turn back to episode.
77.
Woo!
You were okay. Steve, have you read Origin yet?
Not yet. It's on my to-do list, so I'm excited about it.
Okay.
You know, we're bad Dan Brown fans. I guess we've waited this long. What's a little
Number
bit more?
1, The Rooster Bar by John Grisham. Steve, have you read The Rooster Bar?
I have not yet.
Well, it's new this week, so there's an excuse.
Steve, did you read The Whistler or Rogue Lawyer?
I read Rogue Lawyer. Did not read The Whistler yet.
Thoughts on Rogue Lawyer?
I thought it was interesting to see a different kind of lawyer than his typical fare.
See, I didn't like it because it didn't feel like it felt like little short stories, and I didn't like any of the characters.
I didn't mind that format so much. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was
this is the
Historically
second
disagreed on this kind of thing.
the second time Steve's been wrong. And if you'd like to hear an episode featuring Steve talking about John Grisham with us, you can look at episode 20,
I thought it was just
way back in the day.
it was just nice that Felicity Jones got to play a lawyer.
I don't get it.
She was in the Star Wars movie, Star Wars Rogue One,
Oh.
and she played Rogue Lawyer.
Ugh.
But she was in whatever the last Inferno was. That the last Tom Hanks solves religious crimes. I can't remember.
It
what
was such a bad movie. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Brutal.
All right.
That's
well,
it. So we did it.
So who's? Oh, I know who I was thinking of.
Who?
No, I mean it's pointless. Not that was a thought out loud.
Maybe was pointless then. I don't
Hey,
know.
Hey,
We'll listen on the playback and find out. Tune in. Well, today we got to talk about the man of the hour, Mr. Lee Child, author of the Jack Reacher series and maybe some other stuff, but
yeah,
I don't think so.
Lee Child, if you're listening, maybe you should turn off the
You might
radio
want to
right
tune
now.
out of this because I can see in Eric's eyes that he's out for blood. All right, so I thought what would be best to start would be we just talk about
What is best
Where we
is
first
destroying your enemies.
ran
and hearing-
across
Sorry.
Lee Child.
Okay.
Okay? So how about you start? Because you're aggressive. So
I'm aggressive?
Let's get that out.
I don't think anyone would describe me as aggressive. I get.
All right. So, Eric, what was your first interaction with Lee Child or the Jack Reacher character?
Well, the Jack Reacher character, my first interaction was Jack Reacher Never Go Back.
Oh, sorry.
That was pretty bad.
Sorry.
That was a bad movie.
It was
a bad Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah. Terrible Kobe Smulders.
Oh, my
movie.
word.
All right, but hold on. Let's not get there
we
yet.
talked about that, too, when we saw it, yeah.
We'll come back to
Okay.
the movies. So, first thing you experienced was Never Go Back.
Yes.
Okay, again, my apologies.
first experience with Lee Child was I was at a restaurant. Now, wouldn't that have been funny if I
Would've
had
been-
actually
yeah,
met the
if
guy?
you met
I
Lee
haven't,
Child.
though. I've never met anyone of importance.
Yeah.
Hey, not true. I
Hey,
met this guy over
thanks,
here.
buddy. Thanks, pal.
I was pointing at Steve.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, you saw I was pointing
Okay.
at you. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, we've hosted a lot of really famous, influential authors as well, but that's fine.
It's true.
Steve's great.
So I guess it would be that mystery. Do you remember what it's called? I don't have the book with me.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I don't remember what it's called, but
Okay.
It's the book that's based on the
Walk in the
paintings.
Shadows?
The Edward Hopper paintings, right? Is that what it
guess.
is?
It's a short story
Okay.
thing. Which of us is looking? I just typed in a Walker in the Shadows,
Yeah.
and I got a Walker Texas Ranger.
No,
search
that's
result.
not it. That's not it. Well, tell us a little bit about that, because that's like the only non-Jack Reacher thing I can think of that he's written.
I hated the short story
Really?
that he wrote in there, and it's just like 10 pages, but man, I hated it.
In Sunlight or in Shadow is what we're talking about.
Sunlight and
So
Shadows,
this is a
yes.
collection that we've covered on the show before. It's all books based on the paintings of Edward Hopper. So a lot of Joyce Carol Oates, Stephen King, Lawrence Block, a lot of high-profile authors looked at a painting and wrote a story about it, including Lee Child. So this is one of maybe his only non-Jack Reacher story.
10 pages. I hated the writing style.
Why?
It was sparse without the benefit of being sparse. I
don't understand that.
They were short sentences, but they were also too long to be effective short sentences. I wish I
Okay.
had the book with me so I could just read
So
it.
he's like the anti-Robert Parker, is what you're saying.
Well, Robert Parker writes very sparse, and it works. But this was like everything was like, we went outside to check the rain. It was still raining outside, so we went back inside where it was warm. But there's a period every at the end of there. That was a bad sentence. That would have been bad writing as well.
Yeah, I would have.
Who's going outside
So
to
what
check
is it
the
about?
rain?
What is it about? Is it a mystery?
Yeah, it's just some guy saying what he saw.
So like
at a
it's
crime.
just like an atmospheric,
I guess
like nothing about it.
nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you watched Never Go Back.
Uh-huh.
You read this short in the Edward Hopper.
And then I
collection.
read some Lee Child short stories about Jack Reacher. It's called No Middle Name.
Okay.
I'll tell you whenever you want me to talk about those.
All right. Hold that thought. Steve, what about you? Your first interaction?
That was the first Jack Reacher movie, actually.
Oh, okay. So were you familiar with the author or the character before that?
No, just a Tom Cruise fan. Just decided to go see the movie randomly, and I really enjoyed it.
That was Jack Reacher Sometimes Go Back.
No. I think that's just called Jack Reacher, isn't it? It's based on the book One Shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get your joke, but I was trying to remember what it actually was.
Jeez.
So it's just Jack Reacher. And did that inspire you to go read books?
Yeah, it really did.
That's just such a funny way to say. Like, yeah, sorry.
Thanks, Eric.
Sorry. Did that inspire you to go read books?
Well,
it's just a.
I mean, did that get you into reading the series?
Right.
That was the
No,
question.
I get it,
that
but like
he got.
Hey, Jack Reacher was reading a book. I'm gonna give him a shot.
Okay.
That's sorry.
All right. Is there a way to mute that?
One,
mic? How do
shut
I-
up. Yes, there is.
Okay. Anyway, Steve, go on.
yeah, I did get me to read the books, and I really enjoyed the first few that I read.
Did you start right with the first book?
Yeah, which was Killing Floor.
That is a brutal book.
It is a brutal book.
Well, it's called
I
Killing
was very
Floor.
taken off guard by when I started reading these.
I mean, of the novels, I think I've read the first 6 plus a handful of short stories. I think that was probably the most brutal of all of them. Would you say?
I would say so, yeah. It really set the stage for what I expected to be a consistent theme, but they weren't as pronounced in the later ones.
Yeah, he definitely toned it down
It
after
definitely had
that.
its moments, but it was not nearly as consistent as the first one.
Now, did you follow your normal routine of now you read this one, you're going to read like a million back to back?
I started to, and then I stopped myself because it's not a road I want to go down again.
How many did you read? Do you know?
I read 3 to start with there. Okay. And I took a break for a while.
Have you read others since then? Just the short stories. Okay.
Stories. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think actually the first time I was aware of Lee Child was related to James Bond. Actually, when they were looking to relaunch the Fleming estate was looking to relaunch the James Bond series. And they reached out to, the rumor was they reached out to Lee Child. I don't think it's ever been like officially confirmed.
Right.
But the rumor was always that they straight up offered it to Lee Child. And he was like, no, I kind of like doing my own thing, and like turned them down flat.
Nice.
And then some other authors did it. I know Jeffrey Deaver did one, and I think Anthony Horowitz is writing now, right? Trigger Mortis.
That sounds right. Yes, Trigger Mortis.
So they went for some others. But that was the first time that it made me curious. Like,
Trigger Mortis
is
coming for you.
does it make sense that they would approach Lee Child, because I hadn't read him before? So I picked up The Killing Floor back in like 2000.
You both started with The Killing Floor.
Yeah, well, it's book 1.
Oh, okay.
So I picked up The Killing Floor, and I really liked it as well. It was, I gave it 3 stars, but I really think it was the violence was just kind of upsetting, so it was too much. But I did go back, despite the advice of Kobe Smulders. I did go back and read some more. So Eric, let's zero in on some short stories for a minute here.
Okay.
Was there one that you liked?
Look, this is what happened.
Okay.
I read the first one
Yeah.
for your suggestion.
Yeah.
Second Son.
Okay.
It was fine. I liked it enough.
Okay.
I thought, oh, that was interesting. Second one, Too Much Time, I believe it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, Too Much Time.
Okay.
It's fine. Also, I liked it. I thought, oh, these are quick. I like them so far. Maybe I could read this whole book of short stories and even get into Jack Reacher. And then I read High Heat. Which one is that?
Third.
It's the third one.
So I read the third one, High Heat. And by the end, I was like, nope, I hate Lee Child's writing, and I don't care about this character. So,
Steve, did you read High Heat?
I did. And I didn't enjoy it as much as the other ones, but I didn't dislike it. I felt that
I guess it just kind of like confirmed, like, oh no, I was just mildly interested, and now I'm not. And again, this writing style is different than what I read in that other short story thing. So the writing style is better, but they read like thrillers, but they're just so dense with everything else. They feel like brevity is not keeping them moving or anything. It's just, that's all.
Steve, how did you feel about the short stories versus like novels?
I think the actual character of Jack Reacher works better in short story format, I would say.
That might be
Because
true.
he's just a drifter, a random happenstance kind of guy, and I think these situations seem much more believable than him being embroiled in some giant conspiracy for 3 hours of a movie,
Yeah.
See, I didn't get too deep into the short story, so I don't know how I feel about that. But I guess when I think about the character of Jack Reacher, it's sort of like taking a cinder block and just like throwing it into a crowd. Like that's the whole Jack Reacher thing. Like you have a thing going on, and Jack Reacher is just like this unstoppable force that just kind of plows through and rights wrongs. And
I guess I didn't like Jack Reacher as a character.
well, yeah,
Not because of his attitude, but just because I don't really care for he's the best at everything all the time.
That's
kinda.
a frustrating
and
trope.
That's like everything. He could just like look at somebody and suddenly he was like Sherlock Holmes and could guess everything about somebody. And it was just because he grew up in a military family. I felt like from what I was reading, because those two of the stories I read are about like teenage Jack Reacher or young Jack Reacher. And I was just kind of like, where does he gain all these skills that he can just... That he's Batman, I guess. He's Batman without the bat training.
He's a military policeman. It's like his background, but like an investigator.
Yeah.
So he does have a lot of training in that regard. But I hear what you're saying. One of the things that I think it is sort of true of James Bond as well, that like in some ways he does work better in short stories versus like the full length novels, just because of the kind of character he is. But what you're saying about not getting into the character of Jack Reacher, I get. But there's also something that I find really appealing about his unwavering like strength and goodness. He just
personal justice kind of thing.
Yeah. The thing about like James Bond, who is also like, somebody who's usually like the best at whatever he's doing.
But he's not good. You know what I mean? He doesn't have like...
But also most James Bond stuff has a like, it's not all the time, but there's always this like tongue-in-cheek attitude, like, just made it by the skin of my teeth. And, Roger Moore was always like,
especially if Roger Moore.
If Roger Moore did something ridiculous, he would look up and be like, oh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like Jack,
Are you thinking of Timothy Dalton? We have nothing to declare.
yeah, that's pretty good. Where he's
Totally.
riding down the cello,
Straight.
cello
Plays it straight.
case.
Yeah, cello case.
Yeah,
Well,
with a second
like
person.
Inspector, where Daniel Craig falls through that big thing
And lands on a couch, yes.
That was a classic Roger Moore right there. But Daniel Craig is just such an
And
angry
so
man.
there's like, yes, he's the best there is, but he's also just very lucky. And I just felt like Lee Child, that there's just no like humor in it either. So there's no humor to alleviate the smugness, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's some books I find Jack Reacher to be a little much, and other times I think it just really works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like that he's just like there.
Yeah.
It's always like, I mean, it's nothing new really. When you look at it, it's Jack Reacher to me is just sort of a new take on The Fugitive, which we've seen with Quantum Leap or
Right.
Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk. Or I mean, it's not an uncommon thing for a strong outside force to come in, right or wrong, and just keep moving. I mean, that's a Western, you know, that's like the Lone Ranger. So it's nothing new, but there is kind of a freshness I find in the Lee Child stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that I've always really appreciated about this series, and it's so unusual, I can't think of another example, but each book, there's no established format. You know, Steve, have you read some that are first person, some that are third person?
Yeah, I did get that impression. Yeah.
Yeah, see, some you're in Jack Reacher's head. He's narrating the whole thing. Other, it's like an outside, you know, a third person. Jack Reacher did this, and Reacher
like a
did
first
that.
person?
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's just, you know, like a distant narrator telling you what's going on. So,
Majority of them are from his perspective, though.
would you say?
I would think so. Okay.
Well, it still floats back and forth, and then even the time. You know, sometimes we're just Jack Reacher out of the military doing his
Right.
thing, and then randomly one will be set just during his military days, like with no explanation. It's just sort of, here are stories about Jack Reacher.
Robert E. Howard used to do that all the time with his Conan the Barbarian stories.
Oh, okay.
I think some people have tried to put together like timelines of it, but a lot of times you'd read a book, or I mean, they were just short stories most of the time, but you'd read a Conan the Barbarian story and he's king and he's old, and then you read another one and he's like 20 and he's out in a jungle, or, you know, there's this sense that you're reading the entire life of somebody, but at very different stages, and you're going back and forth. So that's all.
Okay. Well, see, so there is, but I do think that's an interesting hallmark of the thing.
Yeah.
Of the stories. Now, I will tell you, this is the one that cured me of my reading prequels first, because I read The Killing Floor, which is, you know, just the first Jack
one,
Reacher story.
right.
And then book 8, The Enemy, is set like right before that. And I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. But it just didn't work because I was not invested in the character.
Yeah.
I didn't know what his current life was, so to see it different. So I hated it. And I was
So I
like,
guess I
can
owe
never...
Jack Reacher that.
You do.
delivering
you
me from that
absolutely
hell.
do.
Well, you were. There was no talking you out of it until that change.
I know.
You'd just be like, but the story happens first.
Yeah.
You read, I'm going to throw up saying it. You read the Andalite Chronicles before Animorphs 1.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
like it. It's like, well, of course you don't.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, it's a problem. I'm admitting it. So you're not catching me at anything.
I'm not. No,
Well, let me tell you my favorite book that I've read
Ever?
so far. Book number 5,
Oh.
Echo Burning. Steve, Echo Burning. Have you read that one?
Not yet, no.
Okay. That I thought was really strong. It was less violent. It was a more complex mystery that was involved with it. The plot was deeper than they typically are, and I thought it really worked for that. Then I turn around and number 6 was horrible without fail.
yeah.
That's where he randomly gets on the vice president's protection detail.
Oh, wow.
And it just made
That
no
doesn't make any sense.
And he was like part of a team. It just really didn't work.
But doesn't
And
he have like no address?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you need to have an address to at least be on the vice president's protection team?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Seems like the background check would be fairly lax in that regard.
Yeah.
So that actually kind of killed it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I read that one and just hated it, and I haven't picked up a Jack Reacher novel since. Like, I've watched the movies since then, and I've read the short stories since then, but I kind of like, I was reading them, you know, 1 or 2 a year for several years, and then was just like,
Right.
I don't think so. So that kind of killed it for me. I also really like Tripwire. Have you read Tripwire, Steve? I think you have.
Yes.
If I recall.
Yes.
Okay. Fan of
I recall
Tripwire?
my rating say I did not enjoy it.
Interesting. Well, you're fickle. What are we going to do? Let's talk about Second Son for a minute, because I think that's the common bond that we have. That's the Jack Reacher short story where he's like a teen.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Nah.
That was the one you at least gave 3 stars to.
Yeah, I gave the second one I read as well 3 stars.
I think maybe if you knew the character a little bit more, that would have been kind of a helpful one, because
Maybe.
I thought just seeing the way he grew up and seeing a snapshot of him, like, while he still has a family, because that's one of the things in the later books. It's like, it's just Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
So to see him be a part of a unit was interesting, and I thought actually provided some insight into the character. What about you, Steve?
Now, I enjoyed that one, but I really didn't get the impression that I was reading about a teenager. He still seemed like a full-grown, like, with all of his abilities, man.
You know,
like, I enjoyed it, but it didn't have the sense that I was reading about a kid.
I had the same problem when I read Robert B. Parker's The Boxer and the Spy, or maybe it's The Spy and the Boxer. Do you remember, Nick? The Boxer and the Spy?
I know what you mean, but I can't remember which way
Anyway,
it
Robert
goes.
B. Parker, it's a young adult book. He's writing about a teenager who takes boxing lessons, is also kind of a spy in his neighborhood.
Sure.
But his writing style doesn't change for a young adult market, and the character just reads like an adult that you say is 15 or 16. And I felt like it was the same thing while reading Second Son. Like, he's supposed to be only like 15, right? He's younger than he is in High Heat.
Yeah, I think he's 13, actually.
All right, so he's like 13, but he reads like a full-grown adult. And it's like, I get it. He's supposed to be mature or something, but there's no change. There's no change. Even when he's 16, Lee Child does not write him like a believable anybody, I guess. I don't know.
I was kind of okay with his maturity level in Second Son, just because I thought military kid and moving around a lot and exposed to a lot of things and a very abnormal, like, schooling, and it's always with adults, like that age as a person.
It's
I
I don't know. My experience around military kids doesn't necessarily like say that at all.
I guess I felt like, looking at, like, his interactions with his dad, there was no, like, chain of command, I guess you'd say, because, like, the dad's going to be, in charge. I mean, it felt like they were, like, equals talking to each other. It didn't really have any kind of sense of, this is the parent, this is the kid kind of thing.
Hey,
What an unhealthy relationship that must be.
I gave it 3 stars, but the more I think about it, the less I like it. I don't like his family. I don't like
Great.
I don't like his
Great.
family. I don't like the story is just kind of whatever. It's just a bully. He just fights a bully. It's all just kind of like, are these the important stories of this character's life? I mean, I guess that's what happens though. How many Jack Reacher books are there?
Oh, a lot. I mean, like maybe 10.
Oh, that's not.
I
But I mean,
actually think there's
eventually,
more than
if you write a character that long, you've run out of the most important events in his life.
Well, the short story. Oh, there's more than that. Wow. Okay. There's
Aren't there 20?
basically 20. Yeah.
So like,
No,
people
20. Book 22 is the one. Oh, we should mention that. The reason why we timed this podcast now is because November 7th is when The Midnight Line, Jack Reacher number 22, comes out. So
Yeah, he just graduated from night school.
he sure did. He got out of night school, and now he's making his way. The only way he knows how.
Maybe that's because, like they say, when you're writing a story, the story you should be telling should be the most important moment and story of that character's life. And if not, then why aren't you telling that story?
Right.
And I guess when you've been writing a character for 20 books, you've run out of those important moments.
Well, I think-
so you just kind of have to be like, oh, all the important ones are gone. So what's interesting? And maybe the interesting ones aren't as interesting as the important ones.
I think that maybe reading the short stories in a collection like this, it kind of gives them more importance than I think was intended, because they just sort of come out. They'll just be like an ebook original, or sometimes they're like an audiobook original or something.
Sure.
They're just meant to be like quick little things. Putting them in a book like that makes it seem like, this is all important. And I think they're just kind of meant to be quick little side stories. But let's talk about the movies for a minute. I liked the first movie, Steve.
Yeah, I did too.
Second movie, hated. Steve?
I had really no opinion on the second movie. I probably should watch it again.
The first one...
Nope. You should never go back.
The first one, like, Tom Cruise is horribly miscast as Jack Reacher, because the books are
Shortest man in Hollywood.
Yes, the books are so about just his physical, imposing, like, big nature. It's a key element. So I buy Tom Cruise as strong, but not...
Do you?
Well, yeah.
Not like unstoppable force kind of thing like Jack Reacher's
Right,
supposed
but
to
yeah,
be.
Jack Reacher's like a freight train.
Do you
And
think-
Tom Cruise is like one of those little push carts from a silent movie?
You think if you were in a fight with Tom Cruise, he'd win?
Definitely.
Because of some training.
I mean,
had
he
in
has
Hollywood.
like muscles and stuff, and he's fought Ving Rhames, I want to say.
He's in his 50s though, dude. He just hurt himself on Mission Impossible 6. I think you could take him.
Okay, well, I
So.
thank you for the vote of confidence.
No problem.
I think
I
the
do want to
movies.
watch that, though.
I think the movies are kind of a miss. I think that it's. I doubt they'll do a third one. Although Tom Cruise has sway, so maybe he can be like, "I'll do your movie if you do Jack Reacher 3."
Yeah, I think.
But I think the
likes
first
them.
one is a pretty solid, not great, not particularly good, but just a fun, like Tom Cruise kind of mindless action movie. Would you agree, Steve?
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah. So it's harmless.
2 felt like a low budget made for TV. It was terrible. I couldn't believe how unengaged I was in any of the
I
action
hated
scenes.
everything about 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was really bad. It was comically bad. Who would you have cast as Jack Reacher before? Like, who is that massive that you can't cast The Rock and everything?
Yeah.
So
No, I think honestly, like you would want like a Dolph Lundgren type. Like don't cast Dolph Lundgren.
Sure.
Not even like in his heyday, but
Right.
like that kind of big hulking type of a person is what you need. And I can't think of somebody in like current Hollywood.
is it a
that
Hemsworth
I
brother?
would- No, because I don't think that. I think he's got to be kind of like plain and dull.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait. No, that was.
I guess that's
nice
a burn
thing.
on. That's a burn on Dolph Lundgren, I think.
Yeah, but that was a nice thing to say about the Hemsworth
Yeah,
brothers.
sure. Before we wrap this up, I have to mention this very, very odd thing.
John Krasinski's gotten kind of big for
No,
Jack
not
Ryan.
not John Krasinski.
Okay.
There is a parallel like companion series to Jack Reacher written by Diane Capri called the Hunt for Jack Reacher series. And the books just kind of run parallel to other books. There's 8 of them.
Wow.
And it's just FBI agents trying to like catch up with Jack Reacher, which doesn't really make any sense.
Huh.
And I don't know how this is a thing, and I don't know why people read them. But
So it's like 5 minutes worth of an episode of Jack Reacher. In
I
there.
guess
Like, where
yeah,
is he?
it's like the deleted scenes from a Jack
Wow.
Reacher
Okay.
sitcom. So that's weird. We don't have those in our collection, but if you want them, I'll find them for you, pals. Diane Capri's Hunt for Jack Reacher series, and I can't think of anything else like that. I can't think of another parallel. All right, so Eric, I think I know the answer to this, but would you
Bradley
see...
Cooper.
No, he's not big. Would
Bradley
you...
Cooper?
Yeah. Would you see yourself reading another Jack Reacher short, or if there's a Jack Reacher 3, would you see that?
Oh boy, it would have to be your birthday or somebody you love just died for me to go see Jack Reacher
Wow.
3 with you. But I
Okay.
guess I would, because we now have this tradition where we see Tom Cruise movies in theaters.
We sure
We
do.
saw 3 in a row.
Yeah,
we
we
saw
did.
Jack Reacher Never Goes Back, we saw The Mummy, and then we saw American Made.
Yep.
So I guess I have to see the next one, which is Mission Impossible 6 with you in
Yeah,
theaters.
I guess you have to.
So
Steve, what about you? Are you
What
going to
a
go back?
Yeah, I think I will. I want to get back into the series for sure. I'm really enjoying the short stories as of right now. That's why
Are you going to power through the short stories?
yeah, for sure.
Oh, interesting. And are you going to pick up the series where you left off, or are you going to jump in with like the new stuff?
I'll probably pick up where I left off because I think I started to try to pick one later on in the series and I was not rewarded for my pick. So I will just start where I left off.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I did put One Shot, which is the basis for the first movie,
Okay.
on the Page Turners Book Club for next year. So we will be reading One Shot. So I know I'll at least read that.
Okay.
I could see myself picking one up again. I almost, when Never Go Back came out, before I saw it and knew it was terrible, I had that book in my hand and was like, I kind of want to read this.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. But I did enjoy them when I was in it. So yeah, I think I could go back, even though
You should
you're
never.
not supposed to.
Yeah.
So anyway, folks, remember, we have the Jack Reacher series here. We have the 2 movies in our collection, and the latest book in the series, The Midnight Line, comes out Tuesday, November 7th. So we'll have that one as well.
Hey, I just typed in tallest actors to try to find an actor to play Jack Reacher, and it gave me Shaquille O'Neal, and I think that's being incredibly generous.
Shaquille O'Neal.
It came up when I typed in
Calling
tallest
him an actor?
actors. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen Steel, so
Okay.
maybe.
Hey,
Maybe.
Chevy Chase is 6'4". Could he play Jack Reacher?
No, Eric. I think you know the answer to that. All right, let's talk library news.
Liam Hemsworth is 6'3". Ben Affleck, is he?
Actually,
You know what?
that might actually work.
He's kind of got a dumb plain face.
I actually think that would be a good choice.
And he's from New Hampshire? This
Is
not
he?
the actor,
No.
Jack Reacher.
He was born in Berlin.
Yeah,
Right.
he's just kind of all over the place. He doesn't really have roots.
Yeah.
He just has a toothbrush and a change of underwear, Eric. That's the hallmark of Jack Reacher.
Hey, good news.
Yeah.
We're all taller than Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
5'7".
Of course we are.
Yeah,
Of course we are taller than Tom Cruise.
He could have
I
played.
think Anna Kendrick is taller than Tom Cruise.
If they had cast him as Wolverine, he would have been a more comic accurate than Hugh Jackman.
Absolutely.
Oh, that would have been horrible, though.
It would have been.
Remember when he was almost Iron Man?
Yes, I do.
That would have been. Yeah.
Maybe. That's a maybe for
Tom
me.
Cruise as Iron Man?
Not as good as Robert Downey Jr.
Well,
Not in the same ballpark as Robert Downey Jr.
Tom
but
Cruise wouldn't have been able to run his normal
That's
running
true.
stance in an
Yeah.
Iron Man suit.
That's true.
So.
All right. Well, I've got Creek Bend Bands coming up, an annual favorite.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Sponsored by the Allegheny Arts Association. That is November 16th at 7 o'clock, so we'll hope you come
Starring
for that.
Tom Cruise.
No. Page Turners, we just finished Ghost Story, and we're starting Still Life by Louise Penny. Louise Penny's a big favorite here, so there's a run on copies, but we'll
Yeah.
get you some more if you want it.
Okay.
We're reading Eileen, that's our last
Hey.
contemporary classic.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's it. That's the big stuff happening right now. Of course, we have the Nutcracker coming back to the library next month. That's going to be December 8, 9, and 10. 7 o'clock on the 8th, 2 o'clock on the 9th and 10th. Usually a sellout, though we don't sell tickets, but usually there's no seats left. So
Yeah.
plan to come to that. That should be fun.
Yeah.
How are things in the teens and junior world, Eric?
They're great.
Good.
Thanks for asking.
All right.
The next movie we're going to be showing is Despicable Me 3.
Cool.
I think that's December 8th, though.
All right.
So.
All right, so we got a while on that. And
Yeah.
Of course, we have our senior matinee and our regular Monday matinee coming up. A lot of things on
Yeah.
the schedule, so check it out.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's going to do us. Steve, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
We'll have to have you
Is that
back.
8?
Now
8
remember,
times?
Steve is supposed to still be reading James Patterson. Isn't that what we said last time?
Yes.
Steve's-
Yeah, you still have to keep reading James Patterson book shots specifically.
Yeah, you have to read.
I will go out that window.
Oh my gosh.
We're doing a full book shots podcast, so we're all reading all of them. So Steve, make
no.
sure, and Steve read the bookshot Flame. So anyway,
Oh man, we could have called it Pod Shots.
oh, that would have been great. All right, that's going to do it for the All the Book Show. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, man.
And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.